The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I was born in the backseat of a tiny sports car in the middle of my entire neighborhood. They were watching. And my dad said, "Oh, you were so lucky because you were born and conceived in the same place." Broken. I was But then I heard a voice from inside and it said, "Hey boy, nobody's gonna give you nothing until you do something." My desire now is to spend the rest of my life helping youth live the lives they desire by speaking to them and sharing my lessons.
And he is here today to share his message. I am so excited to have Malcolm Grissom with me today. Hello, Malcolm. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Some last minute technical difficulties that I'm dealing with, but hey, I'm dealing with it because, I'm a pro. And that's
Yeah,
what we learn to do.
absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes,
let
ma'am.
me just share.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me just share a little bit about who Malcolm is. Malcolm, I'll wait until we got to get this sound together.
Is my sound affected?
Well, with you moving around and all that, it was causing distortion. But we are good now. As long as all that moving around, that's what was causing the distortion. So,
okay.
So we're good now. We're good now. Okay, so let me share about Malcolm. Malcolm Grissom, renowned as the anti-bullying comedian, is a beacon of hope and laughter for those navigating the challenges of bullying. An award-winning international speaker, actor, and comedian. Malcolm's unique approach combines humor with impactful insights, offering guidance. I'm hearing some noise. What is that?
What is what?
Okay.
I don't hear anything.
Okay, let me finish. Offering guidance to parents, teachers, and students. His work not only entertains, but also educates and empowers individuals to overcome the effect of bullying. Currently pursuing his master's in social work, Malcolm is dedicated to deepening his understanding and capacity to support those affected by bullying, underscoring his commitment to making a tangible difference in people's lives. Well, I am elated that you are here, And I am going to give you the floor to share with our audience a little more about you. And the comment in your video, you said your father said that you were born and conceived in the same place. I find that humorous.
I was, yes, yes. Backseat of a sports car. And guess what? The sports car was an MG sports car.
What? One of those little tiny cars?
Yep. One of those little tiny MG sports cars.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen,
So
I'm going to give you the floor and let you share your story.
MG, Malcolm Grissom. Yeah, sports car. Um, so share my story. Well, being born in a sports car, that really set me up for life, or that set the trajectory of my life, basically of my young life. I was very popular. Um, I was I was actually in my first street gang when I was 5 months old.
Tell me more about that.
Well, see, because I was born in the sports car in front of the entire neighborhood, everybody was watching, including the street gang in our neighborhood street gang, or tiny little alleyway type of neighborhood. So they witnessed my birth. And so for every day after that, they came to my house every day. Hello, hello, can Malcolm come out to play? Can Malcolm come out to play? And finally, when I was about 5 months old, my mom finally said, okay. And she let me go out to play. And I have a picture with the gang holding little baby Malcolm.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yep, part of a street gang, age 5 months. Well, anyway, after that, so I was destined for stardom, I guess. I did a lot of community theater. I started my first play when I was 7, and so everybody loved me. I was at that time I was in Hawaii, and I was living in a small town in Hawaii, very small town. So my stepfather was a school teacher, a band teacher for the high school, which was basically the hub of the entire town. So everybody knew him, and therefore everybody knew me. And I was lovable and full of energy, and everybody loved me, and they loved to laugh at all my jokes. Um, and then when I was 9, I contracted a disease, a very lethal and deadly disease that is mostly connected with children, but it affects all ages. And it is called Reyes syndrome. And it is most um, it's most known for its connection with aspirin or acetaminophen. So when you give aspirin or acetaminophen to a child who has a virus already, a common virus, common cold, flu, then this could result in the Reyes syndrome. So Reyes syndrome attacks the brain and the liver and attacks those cells, and they expand until they explode. And
Mhm.
most times, especially back then, when a child got Reyes syndrome, it did explode. For me, fortunately, I it just put me in a coma. I actually came out of that coma the next day, but I had lost my ability to walk and talk. And so I was bedridden for the next 6 months or so. Eventually, I relearned how to walk and talk. And as soon as I could get around by myself, basically, and fend for myself, my mother, who was sort of like a female Samuel L. Jackson mixed with King Kong and Heineken. She was
Explain
very
that.
narcissistic alcoholic
Oh
to,
my
I mean,
goodness.
to a T. Very angry at everything. I mean, blamed everything on the white man, which was funny. We were living in Hawaii and she blamed everything on the white man. Everything. If she couldn't keep a job, it's because of the white man. If she couldn't get groceries, if she couldn't afford groceries, it's because the white man is keeping me down. You know, if the meatloaf was dry, it's because the oven was made by a white man.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and especially because our oven was made in China. There ain't no white men in China. Come on,
Not
Mom.
making stoves.
Exactly, right. But that that was my mother, and so she, as soon as I could walk and talk, then she pushed me back into school long before I was emotionally ready. And that's what started a lot of external bullying that went on for a couple of years. And that also, my internal bully, which had already started back when I was 5, thanks to Mom. My internal bully really grew at that point, and
Explain.
I will,
Explain.
I will,
Okay.
I will, and it really grew at that point. And so basically, I have been bullying myself my entire lifetime. So the external bullying went on for a couple of years, but the internal bullying went on for ever. It's still going on. Just not as, yes, hold on, hold that thought. It's just
Okay.
not as prevalent right now. Now,
My,
internal bullying. What do I mean by when I say internal bullying? An internal bully is a distorted thought. So if we were to look at the creative brain, and if we were to go back and look at, uh, excuse me, Julia Cameron, when she came out with The Artist's Way, she talked about the artist, the editor, and the judge. Those are 3 different parts of the brain, or 3 different parts of the creative process. So the artist is the one that comes up with the ideas. It creates the ideas. It's the creator. The editor, all the editor does is just fine tunes the idea. So if you are writing, think of an editor when you're writing. An editor, all the editor really does when it comes to proofreading, the editor just goes and takes care of the grammatical errors and the spelling errors and whatnot. That's the editor. Now the judge or the inner critic is that voice that says, this idea is worth pursuing. This is a good idea. This is funny. you should talk about this. That's the judge. Now, the inner bully is the fourth voice that she didn't talk about, but I talk about. That is the voice that many of us have that tells us we're not good enough. It's the wrong thing to do. We can't do something. We shouldn't try it because we can't do it. We're a failure. We're not going to ever be good enough. You can tell the inner bully because the inner bully is the one that uses the, like I said, distortions. Okay, so rather than maybe the editor or the judge might say, that's not a good enough idea as it is, but you could play with it and make it better. The inner bully, my fingers are the inner bully, it will say, that's a terrible idea. You come up with terrible ideas. Why do you even try to come up with ideas? You're not a very good creator. You should just quit. Some people know the inner bully. They could recognize the inner bully as imposter syndrome.
Can I
Inner
ask?
bully and imposter syndrome. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my question is, when did your inner bullying start? And what do you think was the reason that you started attacking yourself?
Well, my inner bully actually started when I was, like I said, when I was 5. That's when, so my parents got a divorce when I was 3. And my mother took me and moved to Hawaii, and my father stayed in San Francisco. When I was about 5 is when they actually were in court battling for custody. And they would use me as the in between. So whenever they were phone calls, my mom would not speak to my father, but she would tell me what to say, and I would say it. And then my dad would say something and tell me, and then I would relay it to my mom. So basically, I was the original Malcolm in the Middle.
So, how did that make you feel?
Oh, I loved it. I was. How did that make me
How
feel?
did it make you feel as a child?
As a child, it started it started the question in my mind as to my self-worth. It basically it didn't make me feel good. I was my especially since my mother I knew was telling a lot of lies about my father, and she was doing that through me. So it really took a lot of my identity away and my self confidence. And so, to talk about your second part of the question, when I became ill, or I should say, after I started to get better and I was now back in school, now I didn't recognize myself because I was not the happy go lucky, running around, joyful kid I was just a year ago. And now I had all these my friends who were they were friends before all of this. They were now I had my best friend during recess, we there's a story. I don't want to go into it, but basically my best friend, and physically slugged me in the stomach. I had no idea why. And so I had all these things happening to me. I didn't know who I was. And so my self-confidence, my inner bully that was already forming, with the distortions and everything, just grew and grew and grew. And so throughout my entire life, my inner bully has been telling me I'm not good enough, I can't do this.
And what I want to say, I want parents to hear this, because so often parents insinuate their children into their stuff, and it causes children to begin to feel like you felt as a child. And so I ask those questions because I want those that are either listening now or who will be listening on the replay. I want you to clearly understand, if you are in a contentious relationship with your significant other, don't insinuate your children. Don't have your children delivering messages, because it can impact. Malcolm went from a happy go lucky, enthusiastic, positive child to one that was bullying, self bullying because of what he experienced. And then on top of that, being bullied by his best friend. And he didn't even understand why. So even though we're here to laugh and play and thrive, this is serious, because the impact that it can have on a child. So let me ask you this, Malcolm. How did you overcome?
So um, I personally started my journey with exercise and physical movement. I was a runner, before, a very physical, like I said, and I loved to run before my illness. And so after my illness, my stepfather got me back into track and field. And after several times of being denied, I was denied. I tried out for the T-ball team. So T-ball, for those that don't know it, it's like baseball, except you put the ball on this little rubber tee and the kids just go and hit it off the tee. So I tried out for the T-ball team. The coach would not let me on because I was a liability, because he was afraid that I would get hurt. I tried out for the track and field team. Same thing. The coach said, "No, you're a liability. You might get hurt. You can't be on this team." It was something my stepfather reminded me that I did not need permission from a coach to run, to be on a team. I mean, to be on a team I did, but not to run. So every day I ran just because I wanted to run. I was on the track and I was running because I wanted to, because that made me feel better. And it also helped with my physical movements. And eventually the track coach said, "Okay, I was wrong. You're definitely, we need you on this team. We need that spirit on this team." And I went, so that is how I started. That's my journey to, that's the beginning of my journey to dealing with that. And then I decided to become a stand-up comedian, which now, now we're getting into the voice and the whole thing of the comic timing. And at that time, my speech was more slurred than it is now, and it was definitely slower than it is now. And and I guess my to again make a long story short, it was going through trials and tribulations in that journey that really helped me to get to the point where I could now recognize my inner bully for what it is.
Okay. It sounds like you had a very supportive stepfather.
Yes.
That is wonderful
I
because,
I
go ahead.
I was very fortunate to have men in my life. Like my father, who was in San Francisco, was love. He was love. He was the most loving, supportive. Um, I don't know if you could see he was a great father, but he was the best person to have on my side. And I was very fortunate then to have a stepfather who was not as loving, I don't think, or was loving in a different way,
Yes.
but was also loving and supportive.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So let's talk about this stand-up comedy that you do, and how did you, and what made you decide to become a stand-up comedian?
I loved making people laugh. When I was born and when I was younger, I loved making people laugh. I loved laughing. I I was I started out as an actor, but I loved laughing the most. And when I got well, let me tell you this little story. So another thing that my stepfather suggested early on, this was early on when I was still preteens. My stepfather suggested that I join the speech and drama club at school because, again, I was an actor before my illness. So get back into the same things that you were doing. And so I did. And there was this one assembly that came up where we were performing a skit, an original skit called The Lost Newspaper. And basically, we were performing it in front of the entire auditorium of students. So there were like 300 students because I went to a high school and elementary school combined. So we were performing this in front of everybody. And we were literally standing there in front of this audience. We're standing in a line like a firing squad. It was horrible. It really was. I was so nervous because this was the first time that I was going to speak to everybody. And mind you, I had just recently been accepted again after all the bullying. right? So I only had one line. My line was, "I've got your paper, Mrs. Yamaguchi." Just 6 words, right? But I was really nervous. And so as everybody in the line, everybody in the row said their lines, they came to me. And then when it was my turn, I said, "I've got your paper, Mrs. Yamaguchi." And the moment I said the line, the moment I said it, a long line of snot shot from my nose, hung 3 inches from the ground, and then reverted like a snot yo-yo. Like a snot yo-yo. And yes, the entire audience was cracking up. They were cracking up. I was horrified. I ran to the bathroom. I was horrified. I locked myself in the bathroom till after it was all over. And then when the assembly was over, Miss Saito, which is our teacher, knocked on the door and coaxed me out because I had some fans who wanted to talk to me. But my fans were actually the group that instigated the bullying. Remember the best friend that punched me?
Yes.
Was part of that group. And they came up to me and they said, "Wow, Malcolm, that was so funny. We loved it. We really loved the snot bit."
They thought it was a part of the group, the thing?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
And that was when I learned that even a mistake like that caused so much laughter and enjoyment. I was feeling good. After the assembly, I felt good. Everybody during the assembly felt good. My teacher and all my other students felt good. That's when I learned the power of laughter. And I think that's when I decided, okay, this is it. I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to be a stand-up comic. And so I started that. And so, yeah, I started that journey.
So tell me about your second experience. I can't even imagine.
So my second experience, I'll tell you my second good experience, and then I'll tell you my third very bad and negative experience. So my second experience happened in college. My first open mic that I went to in college. It was incidentally in San Francisco, and incidentally, it was in the same neighborhood that I was born in.
Did your dad come?
No, he didn't come to that one. He came to the next one, which I'll tell you about.
Okay.
No, that one, no one came because I was too nervous. I didn't want anyone to come. Anyway, I was making my way to this real little small cafe type place, and I was making my way to the stage when the MC announced me as Malachi Chisholm. And I was like, no, what do you think I am, some kind of an Amish porn star? Malachi Chisholm. So I spent my entire 3 minutes, I threw out my jokes. I spent my entire 3 minutes of stage time just ranting and raving about how you pronounce my name. That's it. And then I went off stage, got off stage, and I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I really messed up. Year later, I was actually a security guard. I was at this private party, and somebody who had been in the audience a year earlier recognized me and said, hey, weren't you that guy who did that little bit at the other cafe? It was called the other cafe. And, and then I knew, okay, this is really for me. If I could get on stage, if I could not tell jokes and be memorable enough, a year later, this is for me. And so that's when I pursued it. So now I want to tell you about my inner bullying. Happened when I was in college too. There was a comedy contest, a comedy open mic contest at school, and I was really excited. And this one, my dad came to see. First time my dad came to see me do comedy, right? I was all excited, So we get there, and the MC announces me, and as soon as I start on stage, kids in the audience start heckling, and they start, you're not funny, go home, we already know the winner, you're a loser, that kind of thing. And then I got on stage, and I really couldn't say anything because of the constant heckles. You're not funny, no, shut up, man, go home, And then finally, one person yelled out, excuse me, but this is actually what was said, so I'm going to say it. Cover your ears if you don't like cursing or if you're sensitive. But one guy yelled out, go home, nigger.
What? Oh no.
And that was the first time that I've ever heard that term. I mean, that I was ever called that, because, I'm from Hawaii, and in Hawaii, race, it was the Islanders versus the Howleys, the visitors, if anything, right? It wasn't about race. And so I'd never been called that before. And I was called that, not only did I not do any of my comedy in front of my dad, but I was called that. And all of a sudden, all of the fear and the shame and the hatred, the self-hatred, everything from my childhood just rushed back to me all at once. I was frozen. The MC had to usher me off the stage. My father took me home. My father was very angry, not at me, but at the audience, right? I rushed into my room when I got home, and that is when I picked up a razor blade. And I was about to slit my wrist. And then out of the blue, I just started laughing. And the more I laughed, the more genuine it got. So at first it was just chuckles, and that grew into laughter, and that grew into more laughter. And and there wasn't anything, I didn't have anything funny. There wasn't anything to laugh at. I just laughed and laughed. And that made me feel better, because laughter, it opens the body, it brings in the oxygen, it gives you endorphins, the oxytocin, it enhances the positive mood, everything. And so laughter has all these benefits, and those were the benefits that I was feeling. And so I put down that razor blade, and I've never come that close. I've never even seriously thought of committing suicide since then.
Let's talk about laughter for a minute, because for one thing, even scripture says laughter is medicine for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And there is such a thing as laughter therapy, where people just get in a group and they just start laughing. And at first,
I'm a certified laughter leader, by the way.
Are you really? Yeah. All right. I'm glad to hear that. And what I'd like for you to do is share with our audience some things that they can do, because I'm telling you, we have the power, just like you were able to change that trajectory from ready to do yourself harm to laughing. And you did that not even realizing, I don't think, what you were doing or the impact of what you were doing until after the fact. Is that not the case?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so let's talk about the healing powers of laughter. And then I want to tie in how that ties into addressing the issue of bullying. But before we do any of that, I do have a couple of commercials that I need to play. So I'm going to play those and get them out of the way, and then we will be right back.
Hallelujah.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind, feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today, and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
In a world where authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
Mama Knows creates high-quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products, because Mama knows what you need.
Let me tell you about these products, and then I'll hear what you were saying. These products, Mama Knows products, they are awesome. They smell great. They help make your hair more healthy. We're talking shampoos, conditioners, moisturizers, hair serums, and just a number of things. And they're for all ethnicities, and they're for boys, girls, men, and women. You need to check out MaKnowsProducts.com. Why? Because Mama knows what you need. And let me tell you about No More 9 to 5. No More 9 to 5 is a club that is designed to help you move to the next level. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to network with other people, you want to look at additional residual income, you want to support veterans, then you want to check out No More 9 to 5. And you can join for $1.11 to check it out, to see what it's like. And those dollars go directly to veterans. And let me tell you about Ariel, Authentic Divine Marketing. Authentic Divine Marketing, they do videos that are much to your desire and your liking, and with a message. And it's beautiful. Ariel Chime, Authentic Divine Marketing. I have put all those links in the chat for you to check them out. If you're looking for someone to create videos for you to help move your business to another level for social media, then you want to check out Ariel Chime, Authentic Divine Marketing. Okay. Now,
You know what was most ironic about that is my mama knew that I needed a 9 to 5. I grew up saying, I want to be an entertainer. I want to be an entertainer. But mama said, no, you're going to get yourself a job. You're going to work a job, boy. I'm not paying for school for you to be an entertainer, not to be an actor. You need that 9 to 5 job. So my mama knows that I was gonna get that 9 to 5. And Ariel, don't get me started on Ariel. That was the name of my first girlfriend. So
get out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Mama Knows and No More 9 to 5 and Ariel. That's amazing that I chose those. And while I'm talking, let me say to you that you can support my show by going to Cash App Instill Great, Venmo at VT1117, or Zelle, Vera Thomas Show 1117 at gmail.com. Your support can help me take my show to another level. And I want to say that I'm also on Paradigm Television Network. And if you are interested in having your own television show, then you want to check out Paradigm Television Network and find out how you too can have your own television show, as well as, my show is on the network, but it's also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and it's on 21 podcast platforms. So if you want to do these things and check out Paradigm, check out talk to me about getting on your own show or having your own show. Be more than happy to share what information I have. All right. So now back to Malcolm. And I had asked a few questions before we started the commercials. Do you remember what they were?
We were gonna start talking about laughter, and so I got to the power of laughter, and you wanted me to share some exercises, but you also wanted me to talk about laughter and relate it to bullying.
Yes. All those things.
Okay.
And I'm giving you the floor to do just that.
All those things. Okay. So first of all, let me say, when it comes to bullying and my general, so throughout my life, I have gone through my own trials and tribulations around bullying, both external and internal. And I've realized these three things that that can be used to create an atmosphere, an anti-bullying atmosphere. So these are not things that you would do necessarily if you're being bullied. We could talk about that later. These are things to use to create the non-bullying atmosphere, which is GEL, G-E-L, gratitude, that's G, exercise, E, and laughter, L. So laughter, as Vera pointed out, there is laughter therapy. Some might know laughter yoga, that is very similar, that combines laughter, breathing. So a few of the things that are some exercises that you could do for laughter. Well, the most simplest exercise, the very first exercise that is taught in yoga therapy even, is just laughing, and just laughing for a minute. Minute's a very long time. I would say start with 30 seconds. Start with 30 seconds of laughter. Just let's do it now. Laugh.
And you know what happens is it's contagious, because once you start laughing, and then other people start laughing because you're laughing and how you're laughing, I'm telling you, can you imagine? And one thing that I am just so appreciative of is how Kamala, laughter is a big thing for her. And if we can get our country laughing instead of bullying, instead of character assassinations, instead of name calling, instead of belittling, laugh, laugh. Laugh. Let's do it
And the
again.
great
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
one of the greatest things about that is even with artificial laughter. So it's sure it starts out artificial. If we were to laugh for a minute, it might be artificial the entire minute. We might start genuinely laughing for the last 10 seconds of that minute.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it doesn't matter. Physiologically, it doesn't matter because we're still getting the same physiological effects. We're still getting the endorphins. Our body is still opening. We're still getting the oxygen. We're still lowering our blood pressure just from laughing. We're still getting the positive effects. We're still getting the endorphins from laughing. So whether it's artificial or not, we still get those benefits.
I love it.
Yes. And when we see what I've realized with bullying and anything that really that really affects one mentally and emotionally, what tends to happen is you shrink in, your body shrinks, right? And laughing, it opens it up. But exercise really opens the body, and it gets the entire body moving and working together, right? So exercise does that. That's why laughing and exercise are both critical to creating that bully-free atmosphere. So then the very last step, which is actually the first step in my Zelle method, but G, gratitude, the one we haven't talked about, is it takes one step further because we are in a place, we know what we're grateful for. We repeat that. So part of being a bully, and part of being bullied. So both are victims. The bully is a victim and the victim is a victim.
Yeah.
In my case, I was a victim more and more so because I lost my identity. I hated myself. I didn't like myself. I was prime for people to pick on because I had no self-confidence. So gratitude and affirmations and things that fall under gratitude, they help instill that self-belief, that self-confidence, right? That enjoyment of not only us, right? Not only building our self-confidence up, but building up, realizing the great things that we're surrounded by.
Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And again, I must say, Malcolm, unlike many kids who grow up lacking in confidence and self-esteem because of some things that happened before they came into their own, you knew who you were. You were a happy child. You were a loving child. You were excited, but then you got sick, and then you had to deal with your parents insinuating that you into their situation, which caused you to lose who you were and become self-doubting and lacking in confidence and self-esteem. I am saying this to say to parents, one, do not insinuate your children in Grown Folk Matters. 2, when your child is happy and enthusiastic and loving and all the things that you see, and there's a 180-degree turnaround, you need to think, look, observe, and ask questions of that child to find out what is going on. What has made them go from being so happy and bubbly to now being reserved and lacking in self-esteem? And bullying is a major issue, and that's self-bullying, teaching kids and adults how to get beyond self-sabotage by that self-expression of being a bully, and that internally bullying yourself. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Preach, sister, preach. That's right. Go on, girl. You got it.
Well, we ran out of time. So what I'm going to do is give you the floor to close us out. And then I'm going to say to our audience, join me on Thursday for another exciting show. Malcolm, thank you. And you shared things about yourself that I did not know.
Thank you,
I
Vera.
appreciate you being so vulnerable and so authentic. I appreciate that so much. And I'm praying that this conversation is to impact families so that children are not put in a position where they lose that confidence and they lose that self-esteem. All right, I'm giving you the floor, and then the next thing you'll hear is my show exit. All right, so go ahead.
Okay. So
and hold on and don't leave either.
All right, I won't. So every step matters. Remember this, everybody. Every step matters. Whether you are going forward, whether you're going sideways, whether you're going back, it all matters because it's all taking you to where you want to go. Remember physics. If you go to the left, you're going to go to the right. If you go backward, you're going to go forward. So don't be swayed if you're not always going forward to your goal. Every step matters. It's all a victory. And if you can do it with a laugh, go ahead now. Do it. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Malcolm, and God bless you all, and we'll see you next week.
The Vera and Thomas